Has expired. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Georgia, the sponsor of the bill, Mr. Barrow.
I thank the chair. The table's pretty much been set for the issues that we're going to be taking under deliberation in negotiations going forward on this. But one thing that hasn't been talked very much about, and it's an issue that's very much on the minds of the folks who are going to be tasked with following or implementing any policies that we're going to be authorizing the implementation of, and that's with the electrical industry, the generators and the distributors. So I want to talk just briefly, at least kind of set the stage for those discussions by asking if any of y'all can identify any issues of disparate treatment or disparate impact that might result from the kinds of rules that we're all talking about trying to create and authorize here. Can you foresee, looking down the road, that there might be any disparate impacts in terms of some of the mandates that might be forthcoming? Impacts that might be disparate in terms of whether or not you're a big guy, a big for-profit utility company, as opposed to a little guy in EMC. Whether any regional impacts that you can foresee as a result of the mandates that we're contemplating here. We all want to do the right thing, and I know the generators and distributors all want to do the right thing, but I'm sure that as there are staggering costs we're trying to avoid, there are going to be some costs we're going to incur along the way. So the first thing I want to ask is, can anybody here on the panel give us some ideas, the kinds of costs, and especially issues of equity and fairness, disparate impacts that might result from any of the mandates we're talking about today? Mr. Brown, I think you're sort of in the hot seat representing the utility commissioners of the country. Why don't you go first?
Sure. I'm not sure about disparate impacts, but I think you need to put this into a context. If there's a federally mandated cost that we've got to recover from our ratepayers, it means that perhaps we won't be able to do something else that we've been trying to do.
An opportunity cost, in other words.
Right now at the state level, we're collecting money for renewable portfolio standards. Over 30 states have that. Energy efficiency programs, infrastructure needs, new transmission. So there's a lot of pressures already on electricity rates.
What kind of cost do you foresee? What magnitude?
Billions of dollars on a state level, tens of billions of dollars on a national level. At the same time, customers that are over 60 days in arrears on their bills in New York is over $600 million is in arrears. That's up 25% from a year ago. So just the rates that we have today, people are unable to be able to pay it. So I guess my concern is the more mandates that we get requiring expenditures is going to mean dollars that we're not going to be able to collect to do other things that we really want to do, maintaining the reliability, safety, and efficiency of the system.
Ms. McClelland, Ms. Hoffman, do you all have any thoughts to suggest along these lines? What do you foresee?
As far as disparate treatment, the generators that don't fall under tariffs before the Commission, any generators that have, say, cost-based contracts or contractual arrangements would not necessarily qualify for security upgrades for cybersecurity or for, say, EMP expenditures, and so that would have to be addressed. There may be, and I won't speak to the particulars, but there may be utilities or entities under cost freezes. They may be under rate freezes within different states, and that treatment or a security upgrade would have to be considered by those state commissions, especially if it was a security upgrade necessary for distribution systems, say smart metering upgrades. And as far as whether or not we incur the costs, I think the threat is here. The vulnerability is here and the threat is here. This is a different world. There are entities that are intent, they believe that the bulk power system in the United States, the electric grid, is a legitimate military target, and they have set their sights on that system. And so whether or not the costs are just going to have to be incurred, we're going to have to address the issue.
But any way you slice it, the cost of prevention a whole lot smaller than the cost of inaction, what you're saying. How about you, Mr. DiStasio?
I would just want to add from the industry perspective, the actual NERC regime that was enacted in 2005, we've already added significant compliance resources and industry experts to that at a cost of a fair amount of money. And one of the reasons that we're actually supportive of the approach that you're taking to this is it does tend to appropriately focus this on emergency threats, which to me, that represents a much smaller cost. I think I mentioned the fact that we have 400 miles of transmission but 10,000 of distribution, which is not uncommon for many utility systems. And if you look at the expansion of taking it down to lower probability assets in the distribution system it adds significant cost without certainty that that's going to have the same disruptive effect as a bulk power system.
Thank you. My time's expired. I'd like Ms. Hoffman to feel welcome to respond, but my time is up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, gentleman's time has expired, but if you would like to respond.
Real quick, the only comment that I would add is one size reliability does not fit all. Defense Department, manufacturing industries require a higher level of reliability than, say, residential customers, or what they're more willing to accept. On-site generation, microgrids, UPS systems are alternatives to look at as we consider reliability.
Great. Are there others who want to say a word here? No. Gentleman's time has expired.